Good morning, everyone. I'm Greg,
And I'm Kevin.
and we are your anchors for Wednesday, January 29th.
Please stand for the pledge. To stand one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. That's your turn.
Today is National Puzzle Day.
Your lunch options for today are buffalo chicken dip and wet pepperoni pizza.
Your sides for today are green beans and fresh veggie tray.
Spotify makes a music station for pets. Now to CNN with the video.
In other news, a Florida house was randomly splash painted. The person responsible is being sued now. To CNN with the video.
Can't believe it. I absolutely can't believe someone would do something like this.
The new Windows 7 10 update improves most of the Windows authentication.
Now to Amon and Derek with the sports and weather.
The wrestling team had a match last night against Fishers. Sadly, they lost. 7th and 8th grade girls basketball also had an away game last night against Center Grove North. 8th grade won, but unfortunately 7th grade lost by 2 points. Now here's Derica with the weather.
Today's weather is the high of 35 degrees and the low is 28 degrees.
Now back to our anchors.
Thanks, Simon and Erica.
Students, if you're interested in playing a baseball or softball league, now is the time to sign up. Go to www.scholarstest.com.
This Saturday, the Lawrence Township School Students Foundation is hosting a kickball event from 3 to 5 p.m. The cost of $5 and drinks and snacks are provided. This takes place at Belser and invites all BMS, Fall Creek, LN, and LC students. To sign up, go to www.smsldt.org.
Bezer will have its first ever poetry contest. Starting next week, you can enter the contest by dropping off a poem to the media center. Poems will be on display and judged the week of February 10th. Prizes will be awarded.
Today's random fact is the hashtag symbol is calling an Octothorpe.
The quote of the day is by Bonnie Blair. Winning doesn't always mean being first. Winning means doing better than you've done before.
The celebrity birthday for today is Oprah Winfrey.
Not to miss the Harsha with the rest of the morning news. Have a great
Have a
day,
good day,
Bruins.
Bruins.
Good morning, Bruins. Teachers, I'm going to ask at this time that you please help me make sure that all students are giving me their full and undivided attention, that the volume on your sharp panel is turned up enough so that everybody can hear. And if you have any issues with any students not following that expectation, please feel free to email your grade level assistant principal and let them know that we might have to have a conversation with that student. I've got a couple things that I want to talk about today that are extremely important, and I want to make sure everybody has a chance to listen and to understand, and I want to make sure there are no misunderstandings and that all this information is very clear. So students at this time, please make sure that you're giving me your undivided attention. I'm going to talk about two things today. One is about a fire drill that we had yesterday afternoon, and then the second one is going to be about your Chromebook. So let's start with yesterday. Yesterday during dismissal, a student pulled a fire alarm during dismissal here at Belzer Middle School. A couple different things that I want to talk about in regards to that situation. Number one, I want to give a reminder to all teachers, all staff, and all students that any time that the fire alarms in this building go off, the strobe lights are flashing, the sirens are blaring, we are going to exit the building. We can't ever make an assumption that maybe somebody just pulled the fire alarm, or maybe it was an accident, or maybe it was just some steam from the boiler room, and so we're going to just stay in the building. We are never, ever going to assume that it's just a drill. When that fire alarm goes off, we are going to exit the building. Human safety is our first priority. Yesterday, I want to commend the students that were near door one. That happens to be where I was. I came from my office. I was heading out to stand where I always do in the A hallway and then head out to buses. And I know that the students in that particular area did a great job of exiting the building and getting out until we were confirmed the fact that it was all clear. And then, of course, some of those students needed to come back in the building to get their book bags or get their coats before we headed home for dismissal. So I just want to commend those students. They did a great job of getting out just like they were supposed to. They waited calmly outside until I gave them direction to come back in. I'm not sure if that happened in all areas of the building, but I want to especially commend those students that did a great job of being responsible and handling that in the best way possible. So just as a reminder, folks, if that alarm goes off, your number one goal is to get out of the building. I don't love the way that it happened, but I love that we had an opportunity to practice what I would call a real situation. Guys, fires don't always happen when you plan for them to happen, right? We always do our fire drills. It's going to be at the beginning of third period or the end of fifth period or whatever it might be. But that's not real life. Sometimes there could be a fire in the middle of a lunch period, in the middle of a passing period, in the middle of arrival or dismissal. And yesterday we got a great opportunity to practice what would happen in that event. So again, I appreciate the teachers that were out in the hallways, directing students to the nearest exit. And again, guys, you just get to the nearest exit and get out of the building. That's your first priority. Stay close by. Make sure that you're not blocking any exits or entrances where fire trucks may need to get in. And then wait to be told what to do by the adults. Also want to thank all of our admin team and counselors that were communicating on the radio, making sure we kept kids safe. Now, let's go back to the negative part of that. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, we had a student who made a very poor choice yesterday. I want you to know that the school handbook here at Belzer, as well as all grade levels, elementary, middle, and high school, the handbook states that pulling a fire alarm can receive a consequence anywhere from a suspension all the way through an expulsion from school. So we have a student, a Belzer student, that yesterday made a very poor decision, and that student is going to be facing what I would consider some extremely severe consequences. Those can even include legal ramifications if we report this to the police. I just want to talk through the process of what happens when those fire alarms are pulled. You have to understand that immediately messaging goes to the local firehouse, police station, and so forth. So number one, if they show up, they get dressed, they get in the truck, they drive over to Belzer, and then they show up and we say, false alarm. Number one, we get fined. The reason that they include a fine, and guys, this is not about the fine. The reason that they do that is they need to hold buildings, houses, businesses, schools accountable. We are only to pull those in the event of a true emergency. Imagine how awful you would feel if you did something like this student did yesterday. The fire department got all dressed, got on their uniforms, got in the trucks, raced through traffic, and on their way to get here, maybe ran into another car in an intersection and had a serious accident that was caused basically by someone who thought they would play a joke or be funny. Second thing is, guys, you got to understand that as those firemen and the ambulance and the police and everybody runs here to the school thinking that we're in danger, there could be a real emergency, and now those firefighters and ambulance drivers and police officers are not able to go to that real emergency, and it literally could affect someone's life or death situation. So I'm messaging here so that all of you can hear loud and clear. We will not tolerate students pulling a fire alarm here at Belzer. Understand there are serious consequences that are involved, and again, not just at school, potentially even with the law. So please make sure you keep that in mind as we move forward. Next thing I'm going to talk about is a big change coming our way. On February 14th, we're going to have our first e-learning day as a district, and part of that expectation will be that students will work from home on February 14th via their Chromebook and utilize Canvas. So students, we're going to be giving you a whole lot of information over the next couple weeks to make sure that you're prepared for that. But the biggest change is that we are going to begin today disassembling some of our charging carts and chargers, and eventually we're going to rotate through college prep and 7th period classrooms, and we're going to end up issuing every student here at Belzer his or her own charger. Now, some of you are relieved because you know that you've run into some problems when you're trying to do work at home or over the weekend and you can't recharge your device. But remember, we've also been coddling you a little bit. We've been allowing you to keep that Chromebook here where it is safe and secure. Understand this is going to be a big shift. One of our core 4 expectations about being responsible. Students, when you are issued that charger, I need you to understand, much like your device, this is a form that we have filled out for every single student in this building with a student and parent signature at the bottom that says, I know I'm responsible for this technology. Guys, if you lose, damage, destroy, or allow your Chromebook to get stolen, you, at the end of this school year, will be charged $400. Now, that is a big responsibility for someone that's in the 7th and 8th grade, and we realize that. You also need to understand that this charger that you're going to be getting in the coming weeks has a $50 value. So if that charger ends up missing, you're going to be on the line for $50. So please understand, this is going to come as a rotation. There are some students who may end up going home with a charger today. There may be some of you that aren't on the rotation until next Wednesday. But over the next couple days, as we start going through this process, we'll be pulling the chargers out of the carts and issuing them to every student in the building. I'm going to message your parents today with one of my phone calls and emails and let them know to start expecting those coming home. But guys, the expectation is that that charger goes home. You will take your Chromebook home at the end of each day, plug it into your charger, and make sure that you come back the following morning with your device fully charged and ready to go for the day. We are not going to have 8 kids coming into a social studies class and trying to fight over the outlets because they need to charge their device. You are responsible for charging your own device, much like I am in the real world. If I have to attend a meeting at central office and I have to bring my Chromebook, I'm responsible for showing up to that meeting with my Chromebook. And guys, quite frankly, if I show up without it, it's on me. I've got to start doing some real world problem solving and talk to who is ever in charge of the meeting. Hey, do you happen to have a paper copy of the agenda? Or maybe talk to a person in my group and say, can I lean over your shoulder? What am I going to do if I come to my meeting or my presentation or my class, in this case, unprepared? So students, this is going to be a great opportunity for us to start increasing that level of responsibility that we have for you here at Belzer, because I'm going to tell you right now at the high school, on the first day, they hand you a Chromebook and a charger and say, we'll see you at the end of the year. We have tried to help you develop this transition in middle school, but we are now ready to rip off that Band-Aid, take away some of those supports, and start holding you personally responsible for your device. So again, students, understand some of you might start taking that charger home as soon as today when technology gets to your classroom. Others of you will continue to use that cart over the next couple of days until your 7th period teacher hands you your very own charger with your name on it. That's the same charger you're going to be responsible to turn in at the end of the school year. So I wanted to go over those expectations and important information with you today. Either tomorrow or Friday, we are going to show a video that was supposed to be this morning from Mr. Smith and Mr. Bergman, but we will move that to either tomorrow or Friday. So teachers and students, thank you for your undivided attention this morning. I appreciate all that you do, and let's make this a great day at Belzer Middle School.